is correct, you can extract adrenochrome, which is a very valuable drug, natural drug, on the Illuminati's black market. This is why you will see that, well, backtracking just a little bit, the establishment news media said that the reason why Al Gore carried blood in a suitcase was that he was a hemophiliac. But the truth of the matter is that he's become addicted to blood. And now we're going to discuss very briefly with you, I can get my pen to point. We're going to discuss very briefly with you the basic policy process within the United States. Of course, as you can see, it's not what the people think it is. We're going to go through this very quickly. This is worthy of maybe a few books. Here at the top, on the international level, on the top satanic levels, decisions are being made. Those decisions are being passed down to the national level. If you go back in the occult world, you'll read a man named Plato, and he talks about the wise men ruling. That occult concept was passed on down, and you'll read in Francis Bacon's book, The New Atlantis, which originally had a title with the word of Rosicrucian, that they wanted to create a group of wise men to rule in the New World, and that concept has indeed been implemented. That study group, or wise men group, is called Majesty 12, and it's been given a lot of code names. They just sometimes just seem to happen to meet each other. And originally it was set up 6 men from the executive committee of the Jason Society, 6 men of the executive committee of the Jason Group, and 6 men of other key positions along with a chairman. And I believe in Reagan's administration they upped the number to 40. And this group on their classified papers has the word magic, M-A-J-I-C, stamped on it. But they can't make all the decisions. So they pass some of the decisions on to the policy planning groups, which I've listed over here: the Council of Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Brookings Institute, the Business Roundtable, the American Enterprise Institute, the Population Council, Resources for the Future, and the Urban Institute. But those people can't make all the decisions, so they pass them on down the line, some of them on down the line, to the research policy planning groups, such as the RAND Corporation, the Stanford Research Institute, and the Hudson Institute. Now, how does this work in actuality? Let's say the Illuminati have made a decision as to something they want to implement. They'll get somebody, say the president, to announce, we have a problem. Then the president will say, we have a problem. We need to initiate a government study of this problem. And then they will pour millions of dollars into a government study, and maybe after 10 years come up with a large number of findings that are printed in these thick books that even researchers like myself don't wade through. And the bottom line is the decision that they had decided upon long ago. And then they get their opinion makers, government councils, national news medias, and intelligence agencies to help them out to make it appear like there's grassroots support at different levels. And so the legislators say, we had this problem, we did this study, this is the best advice, and they pass a law. Now, if they have any problems along the way, they have their covert enforcers like the Mafia and the IRS and FBI and ADL to smooth out the opposition. Hidden behind the scenes, the Illuminati have created occult area boards in all the areas. Of course, you got your 4 regions with 13 states each, and then within each of those you've got a small section that's given an occult area board. All your different groups working within a given area, if they're working, collaborating with the Illuminati, will send participants or representatives. So as an example of how this works, your own cult in Japan the Illuminati area board over there decided, let's build up the Ohm cult. They pull people from other cults into the Ohm cult to build it up. Then when they wanted to make regional government for the United States, what pattern did they follow? Their area boards. There's a twilight world of the interconnections between organized crime and the Illuminati. As you'll notice, some of the Mishbucha and the Triad and the Mafia and the P2 Freemason families are tied in blood-wise, family-wise with the Illuminati. But the whole thing is one slimy mess that interconnects. And this one I won't show, but it's just on the Illuminati control of healthcare. We don't have time to go into that. I'll let you glance at this next one here for a minute. I knew I was going to be coming to the Midwest, and I knew that there were a lot of good farm people. And I have a monograph that explains this particular transparency in case you want more information. And you can get this through Prophecy Club. This is Illuminati and mob control of Hollywood. And of course, you'll notice that very important part of that was Music Corporation of America, who got sweetheart deals from these groups here. Go through and look at who's in charge of things. You'll find lots of Illuminati names. And this is Federal Reserve, and you'll notice very nice, and nice, that's not a nice word to use here, but at any rate you'll notice Illuminati names: Rockefeller, Russell, Peabody, Reynolds, Warburg, Pine, Morgan as original stockholders of the Federal Reserve. This was in my book, Be Wise as Serpents, and I went into detail about how these different components control Christianity. For instance, I went denomination by denomination and gave high-ranking Freemasons who were important clergymen in these denominations. For instance, for the Episcopal Church, this was the list of Freemasons within the Episcopal Church. And here is an example of how Christians are using a Masonic Lodge as a church. Joseph Smith